Hello Flosstube, welcome to Flosstube number 44. My name is Sally and I am Flossie Sews and Grows here on YouTube and on Instagram. This is a channel predominantly about cross stitch. I do also talk about other things occasionally. So welcome. It is Friday the 11th of October. I think I spoke to you about 9 days ago, so beginning of last week. Such a lot has been going on. I've got so much to show you today, as I have been doing quite a bit of stitching, but also I went to Stitch in London weekend 1 last weekend. So I've got lots of stitchy chat, lots of haul, lots of gifts and stories to tell you. So I'll try and tell you a little bit about Stitch in London as I go along. But I just wanted to say an absolutely massive thank you to Marie, who is Marie of Stitches and Diamonds and also of Swan Bay Fabric, and her husband Gunter, who helps her at these weekends for an absolutely fantastic weekend. Marie works tirelessly hard to get these weekends running just so smoothly, and everything is absolutely perfect. The hotel's fabulous, the food there is great. It's a great location, and it just brings a wonderful group of friends and people together. Sometimes people come on their own and go away with lots and lots of new friends, and certainly my first Stitch in London was last year, and it was just wonderful to see so many people again this year who I met for the first time last year, and also I made some new friends too, which was wonderful. So thank you for joining me. If you're a new subscriber or a regular visitor, great to have you here. I hope you really enjoy listening to what I have to say. If you haven't yet subscribed, if you can go along at the end and just give me a little subscribe, that would be fantastic. And it just keeps you notified of when my next Flosstube is up, but also it just helps me grow my channel a little bit, which is what I want to do. I love chatting to you all and sharing my stitching with you. So, you know, it's great to be able to catch more people. So many of you have joined me in the Fun for 50 sale, which I've been doing with Sarah. And I just have to quickly say, so many people sent me lovely messages, and so many Flosstubers wished me a happy birthday on their recent Flosstubes. So many that I can't remember you all, but just thank you for all the messages, and it's been absolutely wonderful. I have to say, I was dreading turning 50, but it was fantastic. It was really amazing. So thank you. So as part of the 50 Fun for 50 sale, which I've been doing with Sarah at Sew Me Sarah, where we have done 50 new starts this year for turning 50. I have a couple of finishes to show you, yay, and a couple of starts as well. So I'm up to start number 44, maybe 45, it's debatable. So I'm getting there, not many more to go now. But I do have an amazing FFO, so fully finished object to show you this week, first of all. And I can't take credit for this one. Obviously I stitched it, but I can't take credit for the fully finishing because I took this to Chris at Nimble Thimble to have it framed. And here we go. So this is Moonshine Cabin from Jacob at Modern Folk Embroidery. And I stitched this 1/2 on a 32 count. I think it's a witchelt, and I think it's chalkboard or one of those dark colours. I can't quite, it was so long ago that I bought the fabric that I can't remember. And I stitched it with the called for DMC. Now I have to say, I took inspiration for the framing of this from Caroline at Evertotes, who had hers framed. And I took a picture of it, and Caroline has it in the background of her Flosstube. And I took a photo of that to Chris at Nimble Thimble and said, this is what I would like. And let's just switch sides to see. So Caroline's is in a looks like a white mount, and I've actually gone for a very pale grey with a slightly darker colour. Let's go this way again. Slightly darker colour on the inside. Try not to get and actually there was a lot of debate because Chris picked a frame that was a lighter grey, and her and my mum both really liked that. Excuse me, but I actually preferred the darker colour, so that's the one that we went with. And this has got museum glass in it. I am just so pleased with how Chris has framed, well, Chris and her husband, I think Chris does all the lacing and her husband does the framing. So pleased with it. It's absolutely beautiful, and it's already hanging up in our lounge because the colours for our lounge are beautiful, are perfect. We've got pale blue and silvery colours wallpaper, so it just fits perfectly. So I am just absolutely thrilled with it, and I'm thrilled that I got it framed professionally. I think Chris turned it round in just over a week. So Mum and I went down, and then just literally a week later I got a phone call to say that it had been framed, and also something that Mum had taken as well. So she'd done 2 in that week. Then Mum went down to pick this up, dropped something else off, and has had something else framed as well. So we've both been really pleased with what we've had done. So that was from Chris at Nimble Thimble. So really pleased to have a fully finished object. And I got 2 finishes. So I got both of my finishes done at Stitch in London. So this is my first one, and this was the Dreaming of Summer Stitch Along from Love Poppet. And here is my finish. Let's just see which way it will be best on the board. There we go. Here's my finish. So this is stitched on the kit fabric, which is a 32 count even weave, and all the called for DMCs which come in the kit as well. I was really kindly gifted this kit by Claire, who is the owner of Love Poppet, and it was just fantastic that at Stitch in London Claire was there as a vendor on the Friday, and it was just lovely to meet Claire. We'd had quite a few conversations on email and on Instagram, and so to meet in person was really lovely. And really, I really wanted to get this stitch finished at Stitch in London so that I could have a picture with Claire, and I got one. And it was great. I mean, I have stitched this, so the suggestion is that you stitch this 2 over 2. But as you know, I don't like stitching with 2 strands. My personal preference, I much prefer stitching with 1. So that's what I did. And actually quite a few people saw this at the retreat, and I know went and bought the kit because they liked seeing my version as well of how I'd done it. And Claire and I did have a photo of her model, which is stitched over 2 over 2, and mine together, which is 1 over 2. And they do look quite different. I mean, I love the vibrancy of Claire's. The colours just come out really well. But then I do like that mine is slightly more prim and a bit more delicate. And, you know, they're both great, and you sew it how you like it, really. I think that's the moral of the story, isn't it? That you stitch what you prefer, how you prefer stitching, how you prefer the end look. And I'm really pleased with that. I think it's gorgeous. So this was one of my 50 new starts. So it's really good to have got a finish under my belt. And then there was another finish that I'd planned to finish at Stitch in London. And this was Fancy Blacket. And I joined in with the Fancy Blacket Stitch Along for 2024 with Elaine from Ellie Welly Stitcher, Kirsty from Crafting Stitcher, a couple of Alisons. There was a Laurie, a Lauren, a lovely group of ladies, and we all have a little chat on Instagram and show our progress. So I was really pleased to join in this year, and I think it will be a yearly event for me to do a Fancy Blacket. I stitched this on the called for Weeks Dye Works beige linen, which was 35 count, which I happen to have in my stash, and I stitched it with the called for fancy floss. Apart from, I didn't use Oscar because I didn't have any. I used 3011 instead, so 3011, and that's that green. But I'm happy, really happy with that finish. And so I wanted to get this finished at Stitch in London because Crafty Kirsty was there, and I wanted to get a photo with her with it finished. Of course that didn't happen. She took a photo of me, but I didn't get one with her. But ho-hum. But really pleased with that finish. Love it. And I hope, I'm not sure, they finished it there in a cushion. I'm not sure whether to try and get that finished quickly in a cushion for Halloween or whether to try and find a frame. I'd probably get it done more quickly if I did it in a cushion. It's going to be quite a big cushion, isn't it? I have the most massive bag of cushion stuffing, so it is literally, my table's next to me. It's massive. So there's no shortage of cushion stuffing. So I don't really need to worry about that. So those were my 2 finishes, and I got some starts. Now, I had a bit of a disaster. Not a disaster, strictly speaking, but I had told you I was going to start Hello Halloween by Teresa Kogut on the 1st of October. And I was going to start this as part of the Hello Halloween sale with KBH Stitches, Wonder Stitching Kitchen and Petals and Pins. This is the chart. I think you agree. It is amazing. Excuse me, I have got a cough. I did come back from Stitch in London not feeling very well. And this was my start. Now, I'm doing this on a 40 count over dyed fabric, and I just realised with all that black, I just wasn't enjoying it, and I just threw my toys out of the pram and just thought, no, I'm not going to do any more. It's a lovely fabric. It's a Megan Coffee Craft fabric, and I love it, absolutely love it. But I think for such a big project, it's 40 count, it's just too small for me. So I'm going to give this one up, and I'm going to find a 36 count to stitch it on, and I think I will be happier. I will use this 40 count still, but for smaller projects that aren't quite as time consuming. I just think Hello Halloween is such a massive project that the fabric has to be right for me and my stitching, and I don't yet use magnification. You know, I could probably think, well, let's get a magnifier and do it that way, but no, I stitched on something later that day, which was 36 count, and I thought, I'm really enjoying this and the size and the stitching, and I'm not going to struggle by not being able to see that 40. So whether I restart that this year, I don't know. I haven't counted it as one of my 50, so it gives me an extra spot, but I might still start it. It depends. I'm having a debate about the fabric. If I make a decision, we shall see. Anyway, so because that didn't really go down too well, I got a bit frustrated and thought, well, I'm going to start something else that's new. So I decided to start October the 31st from the Winds of Autumn book. And this is just, you know, I needed something small, I needed something easy, and I also wanted to use one of my samples from Marie with her fabric. So I'm not actually far off a finish on this one. Here we go with October 31st. And I've done it down in the corner so I can use the other side of the fabric for something else. So this is actually on a 40 count, and I think I found this 40 count much easier to see and much easier to stitch with, and I think I think possibly, you know, there's a difference between dyers, aren't there? Obviously Marie's using a different technique to Megan, and I found this not quite as hard to stitch on. It's a lot softer as well. So this is 40 count Hartfield Moss from Swan Bay Fabrics. So I'm really, really pleased to have started stitching on this. And actually I stitched on this a few times at Stitch in London over the weekend, and so many people came and were admiring the colour. And I think went and bought the colour as a result when Marie's shop opened. So far so good with the progress for that. And I'm stitching it with Roxy Floss Co. This is a, sorry, dropped it. This is a thread called Caspian. And I think it just is perfect with this fabric. So very, very dark blue and a few kind of dark bluey greys. It's just, yeah. So that's Caspian. So I think I can probably get a finish on this in a day or two, and I'm debating at the moment. The friend who stitched me the card in Ada. It's Sally's 50th birthday. It's her 50th as well in 2 weeks. And I might just gift that. She loves, although the October the 31st is not her actual birthday, her birthday's a couple of days beforehand, she tends to celebrate on October the 31st. We tend to, if we're going to have a party for her birthday, that's the day we tend to have one. She likes things that are witchy. She's really into kind of things like that. So if you can remember, I stitched her a witch, not last year, I think 2 years ago. I'll pop a picture of it up, which I did for her birthday 2 years ago. And so I think I will do this for her, and she's just having a new craft room done and sorted out for her. So I think I will do it and make it into a pincushion for her. So watch this space, watch this space. So that was new start number 43, because we're not counting Hello Halloween. And then I did have another start at Stitch in London. Honestly, the ironing board next to me today is absolutely, I've had to lower it because it's just, there's so much on it, it's also high. So my new start at Stitch in London was the Jacob pattern from the Big Stitch in Rotherham this summer. So I hadn't yet started it. I think I told you on my last couple of floss tubes that I really wanted to start this, and I just think at Stitch in London I just went for it and made a start. So that's Big Stitch Big Tree Rotherham 2024, and I'm stitching this on a fabric of the month from Crafty Kate, and so it's a 36 count, so it was great for a retreat. I could see it really well. I didn't even need a light for it because we were quite close to the window. And this is the progress I have made so far. The thread for this is awesome. It's called Zinnia and it's a cottage garden thread. Look at the colour in that and look at the variegation. It's amazing. And one thing I really like that they do with cotton garden threads is that they cut your thread, cut the thread, and they cut it so that actually the variegation is in the same place. So what I have been doing, because I do quite like stitching one way and then back again. So what I've been doing is getting 2 strands, making sure they match, and they do because of the way they cut them. And starting in the same place, going one way and getting my new thread, starting again there and stitching the other leg back, so that the variegation has stayed quite well. And then obviously on these bits here, I probably will be stitching pretty much one stitch at a time, but that's worked really well, and really pleased with my progress so far on that. So that is new start number 44. So cracking on with them, cracking on with them. And I did also manage to get quite a lot of my whips done as well at Stitch in London. So I actually arrived at Stitch in London with the back end of a cold. So I'd had a cold kind of earlier in the week. Was feeling so much better by Friday. And then as the weekend went on, by Sunday, I was full out, full sneezing cold again. Got home. Monday, felt awful. Felt absolutely terrible. Only worked half a day because I messaged my boss at 12:30 and just went, I'm really sorry. I've suddenly gone all shivery. I've got to go to bed, and I slept for a couple of hours. Tuesday, meh. Wednesday, Simon started to feel really poorly. I was like, this is a bit unusual. And we both tested positive for COVID on Wednesday. So I'm pretty sure I didn't have it when I got to Stitch in London. I tested Thursday before I went. So don't know whether I've got it on the way, whether I've caught it. I don't know. But feeling much better now, but you can still probably hear there is a slight bit of croak in my voice still. So yes, I think kind of my birthday and Prague, coming back from that, having had a cold in Prague, I think I just felt really run down. And I think yeah, so just I think when this time of year, really susceptible to things like this. So yeah, There's a lot of it around though. There's so much COVID around, and I don't think I'm the only person who ended up catching it at Stitch in London or getting it that weekend. But you know, it's just, yeah, it's rife. It's rife. So just be careful. Wash your hands. I've been in touch with all my table mates, and luckily, no reports of any of my table mates being poorly. But on, you know, we all knew kind of Saturday afternoon, Sunday, that I wasn't feeling great, and I was being really careful at not touching any of the kind of food that we were all eating, because there were sweets on the table, washing my hands really frequently. So, you know, luckily, so far, my table mates are all fine, which is absolutely great. But it did mean that I didn't actually, because I wasn't feeling 100%, I didn't do the rounds that I usually do at retreats, and I kind of go and take my stitching and go and sit on other tables, and I just didn't feel like doing that. I didn't really feel like talking too much, so I just sat and stitched, and so I therefore got quite a lot done, which is amazing for a retreat. So I did take with me Steampunk Penelope, and because I'd thought I'd got quite a lot of fill-in to do on her skirt, and it would be a great opportunity to get quite a lot of that done. Well, look how we got on with that. I think I will have put a picture of last time you saw it, but you can see. Have I got one? No, I finished it all. Yeah, I have finished all of that skirt now. So really pleased with that I managed to get all of that done. Be nice to get a decent photo from YouTube. Some of my photos have been terrible, the options they've given me, so it'd be good to get one. So I'm really chuffed that I managed to get that skirt finished. I think actually maybe I had one row that I did when I got home. Oh, I don't think I stitched when I got home on Sunday night. I was so tired after the drive. Yeah, maybe Tuesday I just finished one row that I'd got done. So really pleased to have done that. And I also stitched some of the Quacker Sal. So, Steampunk Penelope, I haven't told you anything about her, but you've seen her before. She is from the proper stitcher, Annie Turner, and I'm stitching her predominantly with the called for fancy flosses, but I think I'm using 310 for the black, just because there's quite a lot of the black. But yeah, and it's on a mystery fabric, which I think is a 32 count. But it's a gorgeous piece, and I will stitch Percy, her pal Percy, on the other side, because I've got a big enough piece. So there we go. That's Steampunk Penelope. So the Quacker. The Quacker is from Mikael at Star Parade Designs. And this was an impromptu start after the big stitch, where we met the table that I was on. We met Mikael. He came and sat with us in the evening because we had a spare spot at our table, and I think he had this with him, and we were looking at it, and everyone went, absolutely wow, we love this, we want to stitch it. So again, the table decided to stitch it, and it was brilliant at Stitch in London because there were Laura, Michelle, Whitney and I off the table from Big Stitch, and then we'd also been joined, when we'd been going crazy at the Big Stitch, the people that on the next table could hear us, and that included Lizzie, who is this is Mrs. Fisher Stitches, and her friend Fiona. They came over. I'm like, we love it too. They decided to join us, and of course they were at Stitch in London as well. So we all bought our Quackers for the Quack Along so that we could all compare them and see them. And we got a picture of the 6 of us together with our Quackers, and just they're all so different. They're all so different, all using completely different fabrics, different threads. Some, I think most are doing it in one colour. I'm doing it in more than one colour, and I got a little bit of progress. Here we go. So I'd already done the ducky in the middle. This is what I really wanted to do. I'd started that, and I did this bit here. Started on the flowers here. So I am doing mine. This is a 40 count Zweigart Aqua fabric. It's lovely, and actually, yeah, it's not as easy to stitch on as 36 count, but it's not too bad. I'm doing mine predominantly, well, I'm doing it all with Roxy Floss from my stash. I have my little ducky there from Laura at Cotton and Clay, and that colour that I'm stitching in there now is called 11 Points. So at the moment I've got quite a lot of the dark colour in there and not as much of the light, but I think it's coming out really, really well. And I've got more, these are kind of Roxy Floss colours that I've pulled so far from my stash. I've got other colours that are in other projects that will come in as I go, and also I did manage to get a few at Stitch in London, so I'll be able to show you some of the colours that I got that are going to be for this project. So that was, oh, and then one last whip. I love this one. I absolutely adore this one. This is Away We Ride by Blackbird Designs, and I'm stitching this with a hashtag Away We Stitch, and I'm stitching it with Lauren from Flossabilities, Rachel from Talking Dog Stitcher, and Sherry from Just So Sherry. And we're all started, I think, in different places. We're all stitching it on different fabrics, and the differences are all beautiful. And there's a few of you who are joining in with this, which has been wonderful as well. Here we go. So thanks to Marianne, I now have some garden gates, so I've been able to fill in some of the bits that I was missing with garden gates, but also I wanted to get some mulberry stitched on this to see how the red looked on this fabric. So this is an XG Designs fabric. It's called Grandpa's Sleeve. It's 36 count, and I'm stitching this with the Called For Fancy Flosses, which I'm loving. And I've stitched this orange here. I've stitched some of the red here. So I've not done a huge amount, but I've made some slow and steady progress. But just, it's such an enjoyable stitch. And it's not going to be finished for this Halloween, unfortunately, but because it has got quite a big border. I'm stitching a quite interesting bit at the moment with the house, I think, but that border around it is quite epic. So I think that will take a while. That's it with the whips. So plans, I think you pretty much know all my plans now for the next couple of months. I've got 6 more new starts to go, 5 if I restart Hello Halloween this year, but don't know, I don't know. Anyway, October the 26th, Sarah and I are starting Plum Street Samplers Home for Christmas together. November the 1st, we're starting Mama Loves UGB's Nessie Mitchell as part of Black Sampler November. And December the 8th, we're starting Strawberry Fields by Blackbird as well, which is Sarah's birthday stitch. So that's 3 of my 6 to go. And I have got a couple of other ideas. I've got a couple of friends who've got birthdays in December. And I think I know what I'm doing for one of those, but not sure about the other one. And then that leaves me with 1. Again, might be very end of December, new start. So I'm just leaving those kind of 2-3 spots for a little bit of flexibility on, suddenly wanting to go, yes, I really want to do that. So bit more about Stitch in London, mainly the gifts that I was given, table gifts, had a couple of birthday presents, and then a haul. There is some haul. I warn you now. I mean, it's not crazy. No, there's not too much. There's just so much, because also I was given some beautiful gifts as well. So, it just was a wonderful weekend. Absolutely wonderful weekend. I got to spend time with my friend Whitney, who is Crafty Whitney from the States. She flew over with her family, and then they stayed in London and the kids and had some fun days while she came to Stitch in London. I think it's quite a good job we didn't share a room this time. We shared a room at the Big Stitch, but we didn't this time. yeah, she may have ended up ill, but there we go. But it just wonderful to spend time with Whitney. Always love to just sit and put the world to rights with Whitney. We have quite similar views on things, even though, you know, obviously I live in Britain and she lives in America. She knows enough about British politics and I know enough about American politics that we can have a good chat about how we would run the world if we could. And yeah, I just love her to bits. She's fabulous friend. So it was lovely to spend time with her and sit next to her. And we had a lovely table. I'd met Shell before at Big Stitch. I think we'd met actually last year. And I was aware of Leanne and Nicole who came and sat with us as well, who I think they were on the next table to us last year with Shell, but didn't really get a chance to talk to them. And then Tina came and sat with us, who it was really lovely to spend time with Tina. Tina got my smalls exchange at Big Stitch in London last year, so we'd kind of met last year, so that was lovely. And we were also joined by Claire, who's a friend of Nicole and Leanne's, and then we were also joined by Frances as well, who was a friend of Charlie's, and they travelled up from Cornwall the day before together. So had a really lovely table and lots of chatting, and certainly lots of stitching, which was really great. And we were by the window, which was wonderful. But we had, so this year Marie has tried to keep the costs for Stitch in London the same as last year, but obviously hotel costs and things have gone up. So she did a slightly different pack this year. So last year we had a Stitch in London exclusive that everybody got. And I've stitched it. It was a modern folk embroidery one. Gorgeous. Loved it. But you don't always get things in the pack that you want or are to your taste. So I think to kind of mitigate that and also to keep the cost down, Marie didn't put one in the pack this year. But we still got a little... These bags are so useful for when you've run out of project bags because you've got too many whips. We still got a little bag with, we did have a little sheet in there of kind of what we'd stitched, to put what we'd stitched on and who was at my table. I was a bit naughty and didn't fill that in. But we did get a little freebie from Yasmin's Made with Love, which I will definitely stitch this tomato. And whether I do the Stitch in London bit around it, I don't know. But I think that's a really good little pattern to have for smalls or to do for presents and things like that. So... and then perhaps stitch your own wording, but love that. So that's a really good little freebie in there that we had, or exclusive. We got some stickers, got a highlighter which is really useful, gorgeous little Stitch in London thread bling, which this, so rather than doing a pattern and exclusive that everybody had, Yasmin did one for Marie, which I will show you because I did purchase it, which if you wanted you could purchase it, and that is a bit from it. So and then we also, I should have taken this out of the wrapper first, had this lovely thread. Not sure what this is called. Is this a thread keeper or a thread? So excuse me, this lovely Stitch in London October 2024, and these were from Daria Makes, so there are her details on the back. But this is just absolutely lovely. I think I have got a Mill Hill project actually in my stash that probably will be perfect for. So that was our kind of welcome pack from Marie. And then I'm going to show you this one first because this, I don't want to forget to show you this, which is on the top, and I don't want it to get squashed. So I arrived, and Lizzie, this is Mrs. Fisher Stitches, and Fiona were in the car park, so it was lovely to straight away say hello to them. And then once we'd all kind of sat down and, you know, gathered our thoughts, Lizzie came over and gifted me project bag that she'd made for me with this beautiful chicky chicks on. And actually I'm actually going to use this for my quacker because I haven't got a duck bag, so I'm going to, although it's chickens, and she's beautifully quilted it on the back, just absolutely. And she said to me, and there was just a little bit of fabric left over, so I've popped it in the bag so you can use it if you've got a project. So I'm thrilled with that. So thank you, Lizzie. Absolutely perfect present for me. Absolutely love it. Didn't stop there though. Lizzie had also made some beautiful, oh, I think that might have just come unglued. This is why I want very carefully, didn't want to knock this. This beautiful, I'm going to take the pin out because I think the pin is just, I just need to re-glue that. Can you see this little, look at that. Can you see that little buzzy bee? With his little eyes. Isn't he gorgeous? Isn't he gorgeous? So that was popped in here. But I'm just going to take it out for now so that I don't drop it. But this little jar that Lizzie has made, and I think she made a couple of these. I think she made these for some of her Flosstube friends, and it's just exquisite. It's got a little bee charm in the bottom, but then look at this. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that absolutely beautiful? I'm absolutely blown away with that gift. Blown away with that gift. I know Laura had one, and I know Lizzie had a few that she was giving out. So I think anyone that received one of these from Lizzie is just very, very lucky, and I am absolutely thrilled with it. So thank you, Lizzie, for my gifts. Just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And little busy bee. I think he just needs a bit of glue on his bottom. He just goes in there like that. So absolutely gorgeous. So pleased with that. I also got a lovely, a beautiful, beautiful card from Lizzie with, she couldn't find one with chickens on, so she put, here it is. So she got me one with geese on, but it was beautiful. So gorgeous card from Lizzie. And then I also had a lovely card from Sarah, who is Cross Stitch Sarah on Instagram and on YouTube, and she bought me this lovely Petite Sorcière chart from Tra La La, which is absolutely gorgeous. I absolutely love it. I really want to start stitching this straight away, but I can't. I'm not going to get another Halloween one in now, so this is definitely going on my to stitch next year. Love it. So thank you, Sarah. So pleased with that. And then my lovely friend Courtney. So Courtney, this happened at the Big Stitch, that just so Sherry has a daughter called Courtney. And Sherry and I were talking. She was telling me all about Courtney. And then I went back to our table and I could not stop calling Whitney Courtney. And then I went back over later to tell Sherry this as she was talking to Jacob from Modern Folk Embroidery. And Jacob thought this was hilarious because at Stitch North, I think, last year, or Jacob Palooza, I'm not sure which one, a retreat that Whitney had met Jacob at, Jacob could not get Whitney's name right either and kept calling her Gwyneth, I think, and then eventually changed it to Gwitney. So at Big Stitch, I just had this thing where I couldn't stop changing the names. Managed to get over it. Got through practically a whole weekend of Stitch in London. And Nicole, who was sitting with us, has a son called Courtney. Started talking about Courtney. The next thing, Whitney wasn't actually at the table. And I started talking about her and said, oh, Courtney said. Completely, just out of nowhere. As it has just come straight out of my mouth on here, out of nowhere. So this is about my friend Whitney, not Courtney. She did say she quite likes the name Courtney, but anyway, her name is Whitney. Oh, terrible. It's going terribly. So Whitney is a wonderful, wonderful friend. She sent me a message about a month before Stitch in London and said, remind me if there's any DMCs you haven't got that you'd like me to get. They are cheap at Michael's. One of them at the moment, they're on offer. I can get them quite cheaply. So she bought me a bag of DMCs that I'm missing. She also, as my birthday present, got me. She'd said to me at Big Stitch, have you got one of these? And I said, oh no, I haven't. She said, oh, okay. And so she bought me a DMC chart. Oh, hey! And that's one of the ones with the actual thread in, so I can do colour conversions. So really pleased with that. Thank you very much, Whitney. And I can't fold it back up now. Let's just pop it on the floor. Fold it up later. And she also bought me, so she'd bought this at the Big Stitch and has stitched it, and then said she would pass it on to me at Stitch in London. So it's Jeanette Douglas, and it's the Alphabet Garden Spool Sampler. And there's a good reason that we are both interested in this chart, and I will show you in haul why. She also gave our table, oh, she did also give me these. Now, these were in, I'm not sure who did her smalls exchange for her, but these were in her smalls exchange. And she said to me, they're wax to put on your thread. And she said, oh, I'm terrified if I take them home, they'll melt in my suitcase in the way home. So would you like them? So I said, yes, please, I'll use those. So thank you to whoever did Whitney's smalls exchange, because I gained a little something out of that. But Whitney also did a wonderful, another bag with some DMCs in and some Aza, some kind of rustic Aza, and a little box frame. This is from Make Market. So don't know where she's bought those from, but we all got one on the table, and some little snips, which are always really handy. And then she has designed, this is not the chart, this is a picture, a kind of mock-up of it. I'll just hold it back though, but Stitching Friends Are the Best 2024, which I love. And I think actually Frances on our table has already stitched this. So, but I can't wait to stitch that. And then also we all got a little charm pull, which are for our project bags. So beautiful, beautiful gifts there from Whitney. And then, oh, well, you've all heard of Hazel, Hazel is a retreat superstar, an absolute retreat superstar. And Hazel comes and gives out little gifts around all of the tables. And I got this beautiful pincushion from her. So absolutely gorgeous. I was looking in her bag. She was like, oh, you pick one. I went, oh, have you got any chickens? And she went, I think there's a chicken in there. Had a look through, and actually I found this Japanese girl and said, actually, I'm going to have her instead because she's beautiful. So that's an absolutely brilliant pincushion, which will be on my stitchy desk. She also bought me a chart from her stash, which she decided she wasn't ever going to stitch. So it's Cricket Collections Free Range. I love this one. I've had this one on my wish list for a long time. I love that, fresh eggs. And I do love the carrot as well. So I probably will stitch both of those at some point. And then Hazel has made me the most beautiful present. So Hazel has made me a box. And it has got Barbara Anna's Christmas window on. Absolutely. I'm blown away. I'm blown away with this. So I stitched this a couple of years ago for a friend and almost regretted giving it as a present because I loved it. So I'm just so pleased that Hazel has stitched it for me. And I know this was a joint effort with Jim, her husband, as he has painted the box. So it's really beautifully painted, and a little Christmas boot at the front. And then inside, it's brilliantly lined, absolutely fantastically lined. And then all sorts of little goodies. Ooh, all sorts of little goodies in here. There's some pom-pom trim. There's some ribbon. There's some soap. There's some ring bling. There's a little pack of Christmas trees. There's some sequins. There's a little parcel of fabric. I love when Hazel gave me one of these last year at Stitch in London, and there were some really cute little fabrics in it. So just, oh, and then it's lined at the bottom as well. Hazel, thank you. This is just the most beautiful gift. I'm just so pleased with it. And it's going to go in pride of place. Actually, I mean, although it's Christmas, I think it'll need to be displayed all year round. So I think it will be. So just thank you, Hazel. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And I'm just absolutely thrilled with it. It's a beautiful, beautiful present. Thank you. And so there were lots of other little bits and bobs that kind of came around the table. So Anne-Marie was lovely. I sat and had breakfast with her, I think, on Sunday, and hadn't spoken to her before, but she'd done quite well in the raffle and had won lots of beautiful charts, and she'd got a big pile of charts that she was going to put on the stash table, on the de-stash table. And I think because she felt so such a warm, glowing feeling of winning such a good raffle prize, that she felt that she would go and give some of them out and share the love. So I had this one from her, which was October mini sampler, which I think is really cute. That'll be on next year's list. Oh, a couple of other bits that from Hazel. I loved this. There was something else as well. Oh no, it's a pincushion. So I'm use this as a project bag. And actually, I have got. Oh, that has got chickens on it. I came back to my table and found this and said, "Oh, who's this from?" Someone said, "Oh, Hazel." She'd obviously found one specifically for me with chickens on. I think that could be a either Annie Downs or Lynette Anderson fabric, unless it's a Teresa Koga. I'm not too sure which one, but I recognise that. So cute, so cute. And so lovely Michelle, whose cheesecakes and cross stitch was on our table, and got a little ring bling with some little floss drops on it, which was gorgeous. Claire on our table, we had some little snips and a little keychain thing, which I think I'll perhaps do a little very tiny scissor stitch on and use that as a project bag zipper. Tina on our table, some floss drops, and a beautiful, I love this, we could choose which ring bling we wanted, and I don't know if this looks like a William Morris fabric in there, fabric or card, but loved that one, so I chose that one. Gorgeous girls. No, I think it was that. Getting things mixed up here. So Nicole and Leanne on our table. We got a little bag with a hoop in it and some floss drops, and also a little, I can't remember, I think Nicole had made these. So a little zipper pull for a project bag. Perfect colours for me. And also Fiona had made one as well, which, not on our table, but some little gifts she gave, which was a little, oh, this good, I might use that for scissors actually as well. Little scissor fob. It's a little bit longer than I thought, with a little tape measure on the bottom. Absolutely beautiful. And oh, and I think this is from Emma, who was on the next table over. So Emma Birds. And beautiful, some little snips, and a gorgeous Stitch in London little tape measure. Now this is in here, and I don't quite know what this is. I don't think it's a needle minder. I wonder, oh, and it's now got caught up in the net of the bag. I wonder if it's a little unpicker. So if you know what this is, I might have to message Emma actually, it might be easier, mightn't it? It's got a very, where's my board? Got a very tiny, maybe a hook, very, very tiny hook at the end. So is that an unpicker? Does anyone know? It'd be coming very useful if it is. It really will. And actually I was lucky. I think Emma said that not everybody got one of these, but I got a little needle minder in mine as well, which says, of course I don't finish my projects. Well, I try. And that was handmade by @gingerbread_makes. So there we go. Oh, you can't see it very well, not coming up, but I think you might have seen it the first time I showed it. So that was in that. And then I also was really kindly gifted some fabulous floss drops, and they're called Figgy Pudding. I love the colours of these. I was gifted these by the lovely Claire at Love Poppet. So I gave her some of my floss drops, and she returned the favour. So, but I think she's made these. So very clever lady. And then I was really lucky to get some fabulous. I'd taken a few things for the freebie table, and we were the second table to be called. So I was able to get a few good bits. So I got a new pair of scissors with a gorgeous scissor fob on them. Why anyone would put those on the freebie table? Maybe they have a very big collection. But I'm adding them to my collection. I also got the, so this is the 2019 Halloween Just Cross Stitch. And I'm quite thrilled about this actually, because there was there's two patterns that I really, really like. Can you see that chicken there? Really like that one. And then there was one that Whitney and I looked at this sheep and we're like, that is really great. Really love that. Would look really good on a spool, particularly probably on my little spool. Let me show you. And I thought it was on the front cover, but it's not. And funnily enough, Michelle at Mama Loves You GB has actually stitched it and showed it on her floss tube last weekend. So I thought that was quite amusing. So there's the one chicken I really, really like. And where's the sheep? Oh, I should have marked it, shouldn't I, to show you. But go and have a look at Michelle's. There it is. They've done it as a pin cushion. I thought that was great. I think on a slightly different fabric. I don't think the sheep shows up quite as well. I think it might look better on maybe on one of the greens from Marie. But Michelle had done hers on a spool, and I thought it might look really, really good on my little tiny spool that I had from my friend Cheryl. So what else? Oh, and then I got another freebie as well, which was mandala. So Maloka Designs, and this is a little birdie, and it has got the Ada in it, which I won't use, and some thread. So I think I'll stitch this and then pass it on either on here as a competition or at the next retreat I go to where there's a freebie table. We're getting there. So those are all my gifts and lovely bits. Haul. Yeah, I'm going to try and whiz through this. I did get a few bits of haul before I went. My West Green Lofts yarn fabric of the month. I had not been on this before, but I had an email saying there is space for the club. Would you like to join it for 3 months? I think I'm not entirely clear how long I've joined it for. I think it could be just 3 months, I'm not sure. But that arrived. It's called Chalk, and it's 36 count. So I think I will probably use this on the Modern Folk Embroidery, the Jacob Baldwin Birds Sal, which I will start in January. And I also got my September fabric of the month from Fabrics by Crafty Kate. This is beautiful. This is a 36 count piece, and I'm at that. It's coming up a little bit kind of blue aquary colour there, but it's definitely more lilac. There we go. That's a better. I love it. I love the mottling in Kate's fabric. It's great for doing slightly more unusual things, and I really like doing Barbaranas as well on Kate's fabric. And the other bit of haul that I had that came before I got to Stitch in London was another spool. Now this spool in particular, this has been made for me by Cheryl. And I have forgotten Cheryl's Instagram, so I will pop it below. And it is specifically, so she's made this in You, and it's absolutely beautiful. She's got her stamp at the top, which is her logo, and it's gorgeous. And she actually made 3 of these. So I wanted one for Whitney, which she's taken off to the States, and I wanted one for me. And then Cheryl actually sent a 3rd because she said, oh, I'll let you choose the wood, you know, the one that you want the most. So there's a spare one. So if anyone wants one specifically, it's for this chart. So she's made it for this chart for both Whitney and I, because we'd both, well, I'd certainly tried to get the Jeanette Douglas spool at the Big Stitch, and they didn't have, I think they'd only been sent 10. So I think the first 10 people emailed got one. So I was a bit disappointed. So I asked Cheryl if she could make them for Whitney and I. So we have now got the spools for that. And I think you will agree, they're just absolutely beautiful. I'm thrilled to bits with that. So that's another chart I need to get stitching on. So I'll pop Cheryl's Instagram, I'll pop it on the screen, but also we'll pop it below as well. She hasn't got a website yet, but she does sell at retreats. I know I first saw her work at the Chatelaine retreat, and I think she's done some of the I think she's done the Solihull, and I think she was also doing Yorkshire stitches too. So she's based in kind of Stafford area, so does a lot of the kind of north west and a few of the northeast retreats. But Cheryl's work is just absolutely beautiful. She does a beautiful thread winders as well, which you'll have seen I bought at the Chatelaine retreat too. So it's well worth have a look at her Instagram, and if you see her at a retreat, go and have a look. So those are the things that came before the retreat. So what did I buy at the retreat? Well, what didn't I buy? So first of all, you've just heard me talk about Modern Folk Embroidery, Jacob's Balderquin birds, which I plan to start. That's his stitch along for next year, and the called for thread for that was Roxy Floss Co. Fallow Red. Now I actually ordered some Merlot, so I've got some Merlot Roxy Floss, which is for that pattern. This was the call for the exclusive pattern that I would show you that Yasmin designed, but I thought I might do that in something else, and so I ordered this so that I could do that Jacob pattern in it. I also ordered some Roxy Floss Co. Getting all, I need a coffee. I hope my manservant downstairs hears me and goes and makes me a coffee soon. He's not in work today because he's still recovering from COVID. So also bought some Roxy Floss Co. colours for the Quacker, for the Quack along. So I bought Creamsicle, kind of orangey coloured, because I've got some birds on there obviously. I bought Beachy Keen, Sunflower, Jaded, and Blue Lagoon. So I think they will all make great additions to the Quack along. I also got some lovely charts. So this, I've shown you this chart as being my favourite Love Poppet chart, and I actually went and bought it. So this is called Going Coastal. Gorgeous lighthouse. I have a seaside themed bathroom, so this will be stitched and going up in the bathroom. I also bought, I couldn't resist, I thought this was great for doing Christmas presents. I might stitch this on my mum for Christmas next year. This is Rocking Robin. I've seen this, I saw this a few times last year, and regretted not getting it earlier, but bought that. And then Claire had been gifted these fabulous little DMC boxes by DMC, I think, to celebrate that the Olympics was in Paris this year, and it's got a little chart in it. I won't show you that, with the Eiffel Tower. And so anyone that wanted one got one of these boxes until she got rid of them, because she was desperate to get rid of them. So I did also buy the Stitch in London exclusive from Yasmin, which I haven't even opened, and I didn't realise until kind of quite late on the Sunday, that there was space in there that you could write notes, your retreat buddies and things like that, and a few people did that. And yeah, I'd already gone and packed mine, and it was in the car and put away, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to go and get it out. But love that. I am probably, I think, going to stitch this one. So love that. I also bought from Yasmin. Now I couldn't resist. I'm not going to buy any project bags because I've just got so much fabric, and I just need to have a weekend of sitting down and making some project bags myself. But I couldn't resist. I could not resist. And what I could not resist with these smiley pumpkins. They're just so cute. I couldn't resist it. So I bought this one. And actually it came with the Patchwork Pumpkins chart as well, which will be a next year stitch. I do like this, but I think I will change the colours on this. Don't know what to, but I think I'm going to try and get creative with that one. So I'm super pleased with that bag. There's a big pile here now that might now fall off. Stay. Thank you. And oh, so Laura from Cotton and Clay did an exclusive needle minder and ring bling, thread bling. Now I don't really use needle minders, so I didn't buy the needle minder, but I did buy the ring bling. So Stitch in London 2024. I think that's a great little memento. So very pleased with that. Then Letitia from Corrie's Little Shop had a stand with some amazing threads, and I did buy a few, and some I've put away already because there's a few that are going to be for presents. But I really wanted to try the Aurifil. So I bought these 3 purples. So this is cotton and it is stranded. And I bought 3. I should have taken them out the wrapper so you could have seen the colour a little bit better. 3 kind of a dark pinky winey colour, a purple and a more lilac. And actually, I told you, didn't I, that I hadn't, that this one of Yasmin's, that's in Merlot, when I bought that obviously to do the Jacobs. So I might use these 3 and use three different colours on that chart, just to make it different, make it my own. So we'll see on that one. Oh, and then the other one I bought was a Valdani. This is a 3-stranded floss. This is a cotton as well, and just really all of the little Valdani 3-stranded cottons, because she had some pearl balls as well, and I didn't really want that. I wanted cotton, the stranded. And they were all quite autumny colours, and I thought, well, I'll choose this one. And then I think my Winds of Autumn book is right down at the bottom now, so I can't show you. Is it on the cover? I think there is in the Winds of Autumn there's a pumpkin harvest, I think it's called. I'm hoping, I think that will probably, that I should be able to, there should be enough of that. Especially if I stitch it over 1, because this is 3 strands. And how many, does it say how many meters? Oh, 29 yards. So I don't know if that's once you separate the strands, or if that's 29 times 3. Not sure, but but love that. So I think that is the plan to use on that. Finally, I bought some fabric. I did. You knew I would. I bought 6. There were people who bought more. You know who you are. I bought 6 of Marie's beautiful fabrics. Look at those. Absolutely gorgeous. So I bought 6 fat quarters. They're all 36 count. So I'll run through them quickly because I did show you, have had the samples last time. I bought Wentworth Sage, Pemberley, which is beautiful pale pink, I bought another pale pink, and this one is Eleanor's Ivory, and they're beautiful. So which one's which? So this one is Eleanor's Ivory, and it's a little bit more pinky coloured, when Pemberley is a little bit more peachy pink. But they're both absolutely gorgeous. Don't know what I'm going to stitch on these yet. One of them possibly will be the bottom for the pumpkin house for Liz Quaker. And actually, I'd bought Mansfield Stone to be the top of that house, but actually on reflection, I think probably I'll do the top of that house with Wentworth Sage, and then one of these, probably that one, which is Pemberley, for the bottom. I think these two will look really nice together. So that's for Liz Matthews' pumpkin house. I think those two will look gorgeous together. So then I also bought Norland Mist, which is that beautiful kind of pale lilac. It's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And then finally, this is the one that I really, really love, and this is the one that I think I'm going to stitch. Flossability's cabin, the cabin one. What's it called? I want to say Moonshine Cabin, but that's the one I've just shown you from Jacob. Is it Cabin in the Woods? Sorry, Lauren. From Flossabilities. This is Rosing's Parlour, and I'd pulled the colours and taken them with me to stitch in London to look at a bigger piece of the Rosing's Parlour, and I think it's just going to be perfect. It's just gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. It's a beautiful kind of dusky. Just trying to get the colour. That's too dark. That's probably more how it is. Beautiful dusky pink. Can't wait. So beautiful 6 fat quarters from Marie. So that is Marie, who is Swan Bay Fabrics, and so it was a soft launch last weekend and this weekend at Stitch in London, and I think certainly last weekend there were a few colours that they sold out. The website goes live on Monday the 14th of October, and that is Swan Bay Fabrics. I think it's swanbayfabrics.com, but again I will pop that below because I did look it up yesterday because someone messaged me to ask and I've forgotten. So 13 colours that the fabric comes in. Marie is concentrating on 36, 40 and 46 count linen. Those are going to be her kind of crucial ranges, but she will also have a 32 count linen, and then she is also going to have a 16, 18 and 20 count Ada. They're absolutely beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So best of luck, Marie, on the launch on Monday. I know how popular it's going to be because it's absolutely beautiful. So just a final couple of moments just to talk to you about who I've been watching, because I know I don't think on my last Flosstube I mentioned some of the wonderful Flosstubers that I've been watching. I've watched Cross Stitch the Globe, Alison and Steph, a couple of times this week. They did a normal Flosstube. Thank you, ladies, for my 2nd birthday call out. That was lovely. Thank you. They'd wished me, but I think because I'm doing my 50 all year, Steph had wished me a happy birthday maybe 2 months ago, and I was like, oh, it's not quite my birthday yet, it's in September, but they remembered and wished me a happy birthday again, so thank you for that. The second Flosstube that I watched from them was their Halloween freebies one, which was great. They did lots of Halloween freebies. I think they did about 40 between them. They each go and kind of pick 20 odd and then come together and show each other. Really, really good if you're short of time and want to get some Halloween stitching done, because there were lots of tiny little smalls that you could get done quite quickly before Halloween if you wanted to. They also have done an autumn one as well, but I haven't managed to watch that one yet. Stitchy Sally, she had a new video this week, which was lovely. Always love catching up with Sally. Laura from Cotton and Clay, she had a Flosstube and she had a Stitch in London roundup. She probably has done it better than me because I've just shown you all of my stuff. I haven't really, well, yeah, I've talked about it, but there we go. And the Soul Stitchers and Caroline's Stitch Corner, they both had released Flosstubes, I think when I was in Prague or around my birthday, and I hadn't managed to watch them all, but I finished watching those last night. Caroline's was an epic whip parade. She's got about 48 whips. Fabulous stitcher, Caroline. Really recommend going and having a look at all of her stitches. And then one that I do want to watch is Jen's fibre web. Jen is doing a vlog for October. She's doing a different Halloween project every day of October. Not necessarily a new start. I think she has maybe 5 or 6 new starts, or no, 5 or 6 existing Halloween whips that she wants to do, and then she will do the others as new starts. So I think she's doing a couple of days at a time, and I need to go and start watching those and catching up. So that's Jen's fibre web. So that's it. It's a little bit longer than I thought it might be, but I'm not surprised. Thank you for coming and listening and letting me show you all my stitching and all my wonderful things that I've been gifted or have been buying. It just it makes my heart sing. I just have had and I mustn't forget, I must thank both Fanny and Angel, who Fanny obviously is from the Soul Stitchers and Angel is a new friend. Both of them sent me a gift voucher for Talking Dog Stitchery for my birthday, and I must say thank you for that. So thank you so much to both of you. Mwah. It was a wonderful surprise, and thank you. Very, very grateful. And I will show you at some point what I have purchased. Haven't done it yet because there's enough here for the moment, but yes. So yes, it has just been a really busy couple of weeks. On my birthday with Prague, with Stitch in London. I have no plans this weekend. I have no plans. I think I need to give my stitchy room a sort out. I need to put everything away. I can't get out of my stitchy room right now, actually, because everything is now piled up. This look at this. That'd be a good YouTube photo, wouldn't it? A good photo for my cover. Yeah, so need to go and have a really good sort out. But it's been wonderful to talk to you. I hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll come back again soon. So if you like, subscribe, do all the little things, leave me a comment. Leave me a comment. Looking for ideas. So I feel a bit bereft that my 50 new starts is going to end soon. Should I do a new challenge for 2024, 2025? If you've got this far, you can come up with a challenge for me for next year. Comment below what you'd like to see me doing. I'd love a challenge. I love a challenge. I love a challenge. So happy stitching, everybody, and I shall see you in a couple of weeks' time. Take care. Bye.